I'll call the committee meeting to order and ask the secretary to call the roll.
Bryan,
Here.
Parker, Barnett, Blackman, Blackwell, Blunt, Kaufman, DeBar, Fillingane, Frazier, Harkins, Hobson, Horn, Johnson, McMahon, Parks, Polk, Tate, Wiggins.
Thank you. And we appreciate those of you who came to see us this morning. I know there are other things going on, but we appreciate your coming. We like talking with you to find out things about the boards you're serving on, and gives you a chance to ask us questions or tell us anything you think we need to know. Dr. Parish, you are first on the list. I see that you're from Vicksburg. Yes, would you please, if you'd be nice enough, I think if you just sit here at the end of this table and turn the yes, ma'am, and turn the microphone on, which is not easy to do, and then speak into the microphone because the acoustics are not as well as good. Well, being, you know, half the people in state government are from Vicksburg these days. I mean, it's just, but Dr. Parish, tell us a bit about yourself and your practice and your service on the board and how that's going, if you would, please.
Okay, sure. My name is Dr. Hillary Parish, and I am from Vicksburg, Mississippi. I started my practice with my partner right out of school in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and I enjoy serving the community. My family lives there, my friends are there, so we really enjoy living in Vicksburg, Mississippi. And I got the opportunity to join the State Board of Optometry. I was really excited about it because I feel like I can do a good job serving not only the community as well as the optometrists in the area. So that's about it. So, yeah.
As you know, the legislature has passed legislation over the past several years authorizing additional procedures that can be performed by optometrists who have sufficient training in those areas. It's the duty of the Board of Optometry to, as it were, police the profession and make sure that those who are practicing are performing satisfactorily. And one of the keys to the legislation that we passed is relying on the State Board of Optometry to make sure that those who are performing these procedures are in fact doing a good job. And so I just want you and the other members of the board to know that we institutionally are relying on you on the board to do that. Having said that, are there other questions from committee members? Dr. Blackwell. Senator Blackwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Too many doctors.
Hey, Dr. Parish, thanks
Hi.
for being here. I noticed in your the application, you had not filed your statement of economic interest with the Department.
did.
You did? Okay,
Yes,
super.
I did do that last week.
That's great. Thank you.
Yes.
Anyone else? Senator Parker.
I just want to say thank you for serving. Yeah, and I know we went through a long kind of battle to kind of get where we are. And to Senator Bryan's point, I know in conversations that I've had with Steve Edwards in particular, that the board has done a good job at looking and watching for anything and putting a good process in place. So I just want to thank you for serving, and I will certainly let Senator Hobson know that he missed out on one of his constituents,
Yes.
this morning in case he's listening at the door over there, but thanks.
Yes.
Regarding Senator Hobson, as you know, he's chairman of appropriations, and Senator Polk, who is not with us today, is vice chair of appropriations. It's a very good sign that they're not here. It gives us some faint hope that we may actually have a budget and get to go home. So wherever they are, I know they would, in all seriousness, they're both faithful members of the committee. They would both be here unless they were unavoidably detained. And I sure hope they're going to get us a budget. So thank you. We appreciate your coming. Dr. Reagan. Thank you for coming to see us. And again, if you just sit down at the end of the table and visit with us, it's hard to hear. You have to speak right into the microphone. But please tell us a bit about yourself, about your practice, and about the time you served on the board.
Okay, well, good morning. Thank you for having me here today. Again, I'm Dr. Kimberly Reagan. I am born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi, a 2000 graduate of Jackson State University. I've been in practice now for about 19 years. 16 of those has been in Madison, Mississippi, where I currently reside and have my practice. I'm married. My husband, he works for the Bureau of Narcotics for over 20 years. We have 3 kids who go to school in the Madison area. I've served on many state and local optometric focused organizations, and I'm a part of the community here. I've only been on the board for a short period of time. I will be fulfilling a term that ends in 2026, but so far I have enjoyed my time learning, and I look forward to being able to help enforce the regulations and help, protect the community that we serve.
Well, thank you. I'll tell you again, similar to the comments I made to Dr. Parish. I don't know anything about optometry. People sometime are going to get tired of hearing the public health chair state over and over and over all the many facets of public health that I don't understand. But with the exception of Senator Parker, we're lay people. And we rely on those of you who are in the professions and trained to appropriately monitor the professions. And so institutionally, we have placed a great deal of confidence in your board and the other licensing boards. And I hope you'll keep that in mind as you serve on the board. Members of the committee have other questions. Senator Wiggins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to that point, I'm just kind of curious because I find things end up being a little different from what people expect. So what have you learned or since taking on to the board? Is it what you expected, or what have you seen that was different than what you expected?
So what is a little bit different in practice, I've always been focused on building my practice, advocating for the profession, and now understanding that the board is about protecting the public. Not that I was not in the mindset of protecting the public, because I always want to protect my patients in everything I do. But now in shifting from promoting the profession to protecting the public, that is something that, I'm learning, and that's very important as well, because if I protect the public, I will be a good steward for my profession. So.
Awesome.
Anyone else? Senator Blackwell?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Dr. Reagan, for being here. Have you filed your economic interest with the Ethics Commission?
Yes,
Okay,
this
thank you.
morning I
Thank
made sure I got it in.
Thank you, ma'am.
Senator Parker.
I just want to say that I've known Dr. Reagan for a long time, and I appreciate her serving on the board, and I know she will do a very good job. So I
Thank
highly
you.
recommend her.
I think you've got the votes. Thank you very much.
All right.
We
Thank you.
appreciate your coming to visit with us, and it's helpful for us to have this exchange. So
Thank you. For your
thank you very much. Mr. Sarton, thank you also for coming up to visit with us. And if you too would just sit down and tell us a bit about yourself and your experience serving on the board, and your general thoughts about pharmacy.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And, I was sitting here thinking, you were asking questions about, what their career was like. And I can honestly sit here and say that being appointed and selected to serve on the Mississippi State Board of Pharmacy is one of the highlights of my career. I mean, it has been an honor and a pleasure to have been considered and serve on this board. But anyway, I live in Long Beach, Mississippi. My businesses are in Gulfport, Mississippi, and I've been in pharmacy for over 40 years. I have owned several independent pharmacies, owned several home infusion companies, been involved with various and sundry national and local boards. It never was really in my line of sight to serve on the State Board of Pharmacy until people started coming to me in the last few years. So you need to consider, serving on the State Board of Pharmacy. And I thought about it, and then more people, and I talked to some people about it. And I felt like that it was, hopefully, with experience, you gain wisdom. And I'm 67 years old. I'm the oldest member on the board. So hopefully what I do is bring some wisdom to that board.
Well, Chairman Bryan is the oldest, most experienced senator we have. So I guess by that rationale, he is the most wise member that we have.
Well, I'll just say this, Senator Wiggins. I'll certainly, having heard you say that, I assume you'll be deferring to my judgment on any number of matters we have coming before us during the rest of our 10 years here.
I'm now on record.
Yes. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, but anyway, so it was, it worked out well that, I was appointed to this position, and I thoroughly enjoyed, our board meetings up until this point. And I hopefully can provide some help, with the board members. I know that I've learned quite a bit, there. But anyway, that's kind of my story of how, I started and where I am today.
Thank you. I would say also, in line with what I've said to the other people, in the very nature of things, we have a board of pharmacy primarily composed of pharmacists. And it's only natural to wish to promote the profession. And indeed, that is part of what the board does. But the board is a regulatory board. And you know better than lay people when pharmacists are doing something that's truly out of line. And we rely on the expertise of those of you on the board to also serve as a regulatory agency. Other questions from other members? Senator Blackwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for driving up this morning, Dr. Sarton. Same question to you. Have you filled out your statement of ethics?
I have.
Okay, super. Thank you.
Any questions from anyone else? Again, Dr. Sarton, we appreciate your coming here. We appreciate your serving on the board. We have legislation concerning pharmacy that comes before us almost every year. And it's always helpful to have any advice or any expertise that the board can provide us with. And that's one of the things we also look to the board for. Anyone else? If not, thank you very much. We appreciate your coming. I understand that we have a quorum, and Senator Parker has moved that we take the 3 items up in a block. Is there objection to that? I see no objection. Senator Parker moves title sufficient do pass on, or do advise and consent. These single digit hours are made for the PM. They're not made for AM. Moves that we do advise and consent. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you. We appreciate your comment. Senator Parker moves we rise and report. All in favor, aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it.